guys, and welcome to another vlog. So today I'm finally not doing a custom order necessarily, and it's gonna be a little bit different of a vlog. Let me set you up on my tripod real quick. So I was asked to collaborate on a photo shoot for some Jeffrey Campbell shoes. I'm really excited about it. I met the model for it, Heather, a couple weeks ago at my friend Andrea's little like launch party for her new office in Beverly Hills, and she reached out to me being like, hey, I'm doing this shoot with one of my friends. Would you want to like make any pieces for it? Like, I'd love for you to be featured on it. And the shoot is on Sunday. It is currently Friday, so we've got quite a bit of work to do, but I'm gonna rework some pieces and kind of just use what I have and hope for the best. Obviously, if the pieces don't turn out, like, it's not a big deal. They have other things that they can shoot, so I'm not like feeling super pressured to get it fully done, but wanted to bring you guys along the process because I haven't really done anything like this in a while or at all. So I'm excited to just kind of like whip something up and then have like a fun creative photo shoot. So let's get into all the inspo. Okay, so the inspo that they sent me is very like mermaid-core. Like, the story is mermaid just got legs and is like wearing Jeffrey Campbell shoes for the first time. Is kind of like the storyline, which I think is really fun. So they wanted a lot of like see-through, a lot of like mesh netting, kind of just grungy mermaid-core vibes. So I was trying to go through all of the fabrics that I have and stuff, and I really didn't find a lot that I loved that I had already, because they also wanted like darker colors, and I just don't have a lot of darker colors that aren't black, but they didn't want straight up black because they wanted it to be more detailed, and sometimes black gets a little bit lost in photos. So I didn't have a lot, so I went to Goodwill literally like a little bit ago, and I picked up some things that I thought could be useful. I did also buy gray dye so that I could dye some fabrics that I had. Like, I did dye the mesh that I used for my fashion show piece. I dyed it a little bit gray, so it's a little bit more muted, and I made like a little draped piece with this and some safety pins, but I don't know if I love it yet, so that's just sitting there. But I found a few pieces that I think will be very fun to like upcycle. So I got this little dress that I'm thinking I can take the lining out of, so that then it's just like a sheer like layered skirt. And this one's a dress, but I think I'm going to just turn it into what is like a lower skirt, maybe even add like a slit into it, and obviously like dyeing it gray so it's like a muted tone. So I have that. I'm thinking the same vibe for this dress as well, just taking out the lining so that it's just this like beautiful lace kind of vibe. And I thought it was kind of like a beachy kind of lace. I don't know, it gives me like seashell-y vibes even though it's flowers. It has an open back, so I do like the style of this one, but I think I'm also gonna like cut up the sleeves a bit and maybe add a little bit something to it, but I like the general idea of this. So again, gonna take out the lining and dye this. Then I found this one that I just liked, the like crochet, well, not really crochet, but like kind of just texture that it has on it. I thought it would be just a good texture to have to like kind of create anything out of. It's a pretty just like simple boxy dress, so I feel like I can work with a lot of this and like cut it up and make it really cool. Also, we'll be dyeing this one. And lastly, I found this blue lace number, which I'm also thinking that I'll take out the lining for it so that it's just like sheer. And I do actually like the color for this. It matches like the aesthetic that they wanted, so I think we're just gonna like cut this up and kind of create something out of it. But yeah, I really haven't done upcycling in so long, if at all, really. So I'm excited to like mess around with it, because I was really trying to make something from scratch and just like nothing was coming to my head, and I've been like draping and doing things and just like literally nothing has worked. So I'm excited to kind of play around with these pieces and hope for the best. Okay, so here's what this one is looking like. I accidentally cut into it here, so I put a safety pin on it. And also this kind of ripped a little bit up here because this lace is just like obviously very delicate, so it is ripping in a few places. But I'm not mad about it because I kind of like the ripped look, and I only need it to last for this photo shoot. But I think I'm gonna cut off the sleeves, speaking of ripping things out. I think these could make cool like glove-like pieces maybe, or maybe I could just add them elsewhere. I know they really liked the idea of like the little ruffles kind of coming down in like a mermaid-y way, so I'm wondering if I can kind of attempt to replicate that with the little bit that I have with these sleeves, kind of maybe coming down at the front or the bottom or something. So that's what I'm thinking. It's my current thought process. So it looks like that. My thought was like, these could be cool as like arm pieces instead of it being like a sleeve. And I can cut a hole into it and kind of make it a glove too, like one of those like arm ones. Or I could attempt to like, I don't know, maybe that is a move. Maybe I will just cut a little thumb into this. Something like this on top of the dress I think is cool. It has like a weird, obviously it has like the armhole shape there, kind of on the elbow, but it kind of works. I'm not mad about it. So that's kind of cool. Or it could like flow down. I don't know. Anyway, that's something. I think that already is better than what the dress was previously. I think I might add more safety pins here to like that middle part because I think it could be cool. And they want to use a lot of like silver, which unfortunately I don't use a lot of. I'm a gold girl through and through, but I do have a lot of just like basic safety pins that are silver. So I figured that was the way I could kind of use some silver in this because I really am not a silver girl whatsoever. And also they want like dark colors and blues, and I don't do blues either. Like that's not within my color palette usually. So I'm really testing myself here, but I think it is cool. I think I could probably use a smaller one right there or just cut down into it a little bit more. I have no clue if they're gonna like this or not. Like, they could also say they hate everything and then they don't use any of it. But either way, it is fun to experiment. So I'm not mad about it. Something like that could be cool. Obviously it would look better against like a skin tone rather than like this white. It always throws me off. But I like it. And I like the idea of these little hand glove thingies. This is the one I cut into. So picture this. I think this would be a sick look. And then they obviously have a lot of accessories and like pearls and necklaces, which I think would be really cool as statement pieces. Because they also didn't want the clothing pieces to overpower the shoes, because obviously this is for Jeffrey Campbell like shoes and their campaign. So obviously they want something relatively simplistic for the top so it doesn't overshadow. But I think this could be cool. And if they want to do like shots holding the shoes, like this could be really cool. So I like this. I like the vibes. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do next is dye these pieces before I start to work with them, just because I want to see what color they pick up, and if I end up using a thread on it, like I want to match to it, because I made these pieces yesterday and then dyed them, and this one like barely took the color, so I used like gray on it and then it is like very obvious. I don't know if you can see, but anyway, I guess I can take this off. It's dry now. But yeah, I didn't pick up the gray as much as I wanted it to, as much as the other pieces of fabric did. So I want to go ahead and dye these first to kind of see how well they pick up the color. I am using a light gray though, I'm using Frost Gray Rit dye. So it's not like dark because I didn't want it to be super dark, but I just wanted it to kind of mute it a little bit. So maybe that was also the issue and I should have done a darker one, but we'll see. All of these are obviously different fabric types, so we will see how well they take it on. This one is for synthetics, which is why I'm kind of shocked that that other piece didn't take it very well, because then I put in a silk piece and it took it super well, and I know that one's 100% silk, so very interesting. But I'm gonna throw these in there and hope for the best. Okay, so it is the next morning and two of the pieces are still drying, but this is what this one looks like. I actually really love the color that it took. I was scared because at first it looked like it wasn't taking any color, but I left it in for like 45 minutes or so, and it took on this really beautiful like light gray, which I really love. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to love this one or not. I sent them a picture of the blue lace one I was working on yesterday, and they said they didn't love the lace of it and it felt a little too Y2K, so that one's a no-go. But I love it. I think it's so cool, so I think I'll probably do a shoot with it anyway. I think it's just fun to get to like thrift something and make something new of it, and it's just such a photo shoot piece. Obviously it's not very wearable, but I think it would make for a really cool shoot, especially like in that like mermaid-y vibe, because The Little Mermaid is coming out, so that's like such a summer thing right now, and I feel like it'd be really cool to shoot it at the beach, so I might end up shooting it anyway. I'm not really that upset about it. It also didn't take me that long to make, so it's whatever. But I don't know how they're gonna feel about this one, because it is maybe also along the same vibes in a way. But this morning I sent them a couple of pictures of some other things, and they said that they were looking for maybe a few more skirts, because they found a good amount of tops, but they need more bottoms. And they said they did want like frilly, flowy, kind of like washed on the shore kind of skirts, like asymmetrical, maybe like a mini skirt, but like that has like a bit of like ruffling or whatever coming down. So I was thinking this one would be cool to to make it to like a mini skirt that then has like all this stuff coming down on it. So I might put it on the mannequin to kind of explain what I'm saying here. But all that to say is that I'm going thrifting again today, but I'm going with Megan because we hung out yesterday and she was like, I have literally nothing to do. And I was like, great, do you want to come thrifting with me? So we're gonna go. Hopefully I can find some like crochet pieces because I know they were really inspired by crochet pieces on the mood board that they sent, and I just wasn't able to find anything at the last thrift store I went to. So I'm looking to find some of that hopefully, or some like netting, maybe even like a really flowy like evening gown type dress that I can like cut up and then use the fabric of. But I'm hoping to find the fabrics in the color that I want them already instead of having to dye them, because I don't have any more of this dye and I don't really have time to dye a bunch of fabrics and then make something out of them. So I'm gonna just hope for the best. That's what we're doing. So I'm gonna put this on here. I cut up, like, it had a side zipper and I cut it off completely because it wouldn't really work as a skirt if it had that on there, because it was also just kind of tight. I also want to like obviously think of things that won't take me too long to reconstruct, because like obviously like I'm not getting paid for this shoot because nobody is, like it's just a collaborative shoot, and that's how a lot of things are in these kind of spaces. So like I'm not mad about it because I agreed to it, like I knew what I was getting into. But also like obviously I just don't want to like put so much into it if it's not going to necessarily give me much back. Although like I don't know, maybe the pictures will like go viral and I'll do great and then I'll do great out of it. Like you never know. Enough effort, but also like I'm not putting in like all of my time because I do have other things I need to tend to that actually do give me money. So that's the vibe. And that's like not shade to this at all, because again, this is just how the industry works a lot of ways, and like you do have to do a lot of free work sometimes. Not a lot, but like a good amount of it. In the same way that photographers will shoot for free, or stylists will style for free, or makeup artists will do makeup for free. Like designers will sometimes make pieces for free and hope for the best too. So anyway, so this is what I'm thinking in terms of it being like a little mini skirt like this, and then all of these layers I can like cut off and then kind of like bring them to the side to kind of create that like drapey ruffly vibe all the way down is what I'm thinking. I think that is a concept that we can work on that I think would be quite cool, as long as they like these fabrics is the thing. I'm not entirely sure if they're gonna vibe with it or not. I'm having like a hard trouble grasping like what they love or don't love, because I also don't know them that well personally. I met them once for coffee to figure this out and that's it. So it's like, you know, sometimes it takes a bit to like know what a person really likes and doesn't like and what their style is. It's a lot of trial and error, so I'm, you know, I'm not like upset that they didn't like certain pieces or whatever. Like, you know, you can't please everybody with everything, so that's just how it is. Yeah, I'm thinking something along the lines of this would be kind of cool as a skirt. I don't know, but I'm gonna go thrifting here soon, so I'm gonna get ready for that, and then we will continue on this later this afternoon. I completely spaced on like vlogging the thrifting portion of this. I got one clip and then forgot because I was talking to Megan the whole time. But I did get a few things. So at the first one, I got some things that I just liked the texture of. I thought this would be a really good texture to have. It's like a little cardigan, but I just think it's a fun texture and it's one of the colors that they wanted. So we got that. I also got this, which again, I just like the texture of. It's like a black lace. They didn't really want black for this, but I feel like black lace is different than having like a straight up black garment, especially if it's just like little bits and pieces of it. So I got that, and I also got this gray like tulle skirt because again I just like the tulle of it, and the gray was also in the color scheme, so I feel like I can play around with that because it's like that flowy kind of vibe. Then at the Goodwill that we went to, I got this little number, which I just think as is will work for this photo shoot. So I'm just gonna bring it. I think it's really cute. Megan actually found this, so shout out Megan for that one. And then these are also black pieces, so I'm not sure if they're really gonna fit the vibe or not, but I thought they could be fun. This little mesh black top is a really good like layering piece, especially when you are not wearing anything under. It doesn't come off fully black, so I think this could be kind of cool. And then I also got this one, which again I'm not really sure if this one would fit the vibe or not because it's black, but again it's see-through, so like if you're wearing nothing under, like it doesn't come off like stark black. So those are some of the pieces that I got to mess around with, but I think I want to start messing around with the skirt that I was showing you guys earlier, this one first. And I don't know, maybe I can even like layer this tulle onto it or something. Kind of different vibes. I don't know. I'm just gonna start messing around with things and hope for the best. Okay, so I just sent over a picture of this looking like this for approval. So literally I just cut this off and then put the rest and pinned it to the side just for a general idea, and they said they liked it, so thank God. I'm gonna go ahead and put it together. I think what I'm gonna do is just put a like small elastic all the way around for the waistband. It's more of like a low rise kind of vibe, so nothing too crazy there. And then once I have that put together, then I'll kind of play around with draping this and see kind of where I want to place it, if I want to kind of do more on like multiple sides or what the vibe is. I also was looking at this fabric that I was using the other day. This is actually a piece that I fully draped, but I actually hate it, so don't like it. But anyway, this color fits in with this I think pretty decently, so I can even maybe use some of these little ruffles to like drape on there. So I'm just happy that I finally came up with something and that they also liked it, because I was just having a hard time getting inspired because it's not my usual like style or vibe. So it's a bit of a challenge for me, especially color wise. I don't play around with these colors too much, so it's hard for me to like, I don't know, think about it. But I'm having a lot of fun with it though. I think it's gonna be good and I'm excited for the actual shoot. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little elastic in here. This is literally the tiniest little thing. Like her ass is gonna be out of here, but you know, those are the vibes. So let's put the elastic in. Okay, that skirt is finished and I feel good about it. It's very quick. It's not like I'm doing like perfect finishes on any of these, because as long as it looks good in a picture, that's really all it's for. On to the next one. So I have this one. It's a little bit smaller than what her waist actually is, so I think we're just gonna safety pin it again. As long as it looks good in a picture, it really doesn't matter. You can kind of fake it. A lot of photo shoots I've realized are fake in terms of like how it actually fits. They're all like safety pinned or clipped just to make it look good for the shot. So that's what we're probably gonna do. But for this skirt, let me pull you back a bit. So it's a pretty long one. It's like a midi-ish, well, not midi, maybe like a little bit less than midi. I think I'm going to cut the lining to be short, and then I think I'm gonna play around with like draping the tulle kind of in different like sections and bringing it up like that. First things first, we're gonna cut the lining. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, they didn't love this skirt as much. I'm still bringing all these pieces just in case they want to like try them on or like style them differently. I think it's really fun, but it is kind of a different vibe, so I don't know. It was a quick one to drape, so I'm again not upset by it. It took me like maybe 10 minutes max. But there's another piece. I just sent them a picture of the lace of this dress that I dyed yesterday. It's finally dry. It was not dry this morning, and she said she loved it, which I'm really glad, because lace can be so tricky sometimes. People are really particular about it, whether they like it or not. Sometimes it does come off really cheesy and like and sometimes it's like the most beautiful thing ever. But I feel like this one is really unique and kind of has like a almost like crochet vibe to it, because it's like not your typical lace. So I took out the lining of this yesterday, so right now it's just like a see-through bodycon dress pretty much, and I'm thinking I might leave it at that, or I might cut off the sleeves and make them into gloves, because I know they did want gloves. And I do also have all these little crystal beads that I wanted to use at some point that could be cool to put all over this to make it look like a dripping effect. But I'm gonna put on the mannequin first and kind of just like vibe with it and see what it looks like, and also see if it's gonna fit as well. I think it should, because it's pretty stretchy. But Heather, who's the model, is also just like so tall, so I also have to keep that in mind when I'm making all of these, because that's a huge factor. But I'm gonna go ahead and drape this and hope for the best. Okay, I'm questioning whether it's gonna fit or not. I think it should, but it might just be like tight, but honestly it's fine. I am gonna go ahead and cut off the sleeves though, because I do want to make gloves for one of these pieces, and I think it'll just like make it a little more edgy, because I feel like right now it's obviously like, because it's see-through, it's giving edgy, but it feels very bridal to me right now, because I think this was probably like an engagement party dress or something of the sorts. It just kind of has that energy, and because it didn't take the color too well, the gray, I mean it took it decently, it is pretty gray, but it's not like dark gray or anything. Feels bridal, and I played around with putting like pearls on it, but that just made it more bridal looking. So I think the making gloves would at least help make it feel more edgy. Maybe I'll take off the high neck and maybe I'll do something with this little V or something. I don't know. But also like it needs the high neck so that the back has that support. So I'm trying to figure out what to do there. I think maybe that's what's also throwing me off, but maybe not. I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna put little thumb holes here to make these into gloves, and then I'll cut off the excess here. I can literally just like stab my nail through here and kind of make a hole. That's how I've been doing it. I think honestly why I have a hard time upcycling or like wanting to do more upcycle things is because I never finish it off properly. Like I always have like the worst finishes because I'm like cutting through things and like whatever, and I'm not thinking about like, oh, I should serge that and finish that off nicely or whatever. So I have a hard time ever wanting to upcycle because I just never properly finish it. So then it's like, well, I wouldn't want to sell something that isn't properly finished, so then I don't sell it, and then, you know, but then it's also not great quality to even like have in the closet. I don't know. Anyway, that's my own personal struggle with upcycling, is that I just don't tend to like I cut off the sleeves. Like, do I really want to hem this after cutting the sleeves? No, I don't. And like honestly, for a picture you can't tell, but if I were gonna sell this, like I'd have to like actually hem this and make it look nice, and that's just not what I want to do. So here is what the glove would look like, which I think is fun, especially if they want to do shots with the hands like holding the shoes or something like this. I think these could be really cool. So there's that. Then I'll do the other one, and maybe I will just leave it as is. I don't really know. Might play around with it a little bit more, but it could just be a look like this. Like I might not have to do much to it. I don't know. Okay, I finished some things up last night and I just did not feel like filming because I was so not in the mood to even be doing any of this. But I got some things finished, so I'm going to show you guys everything that we are packing up today. While I pack it up, because I am already running a little bit late, though they said they were also running late. So it was supposed to start at 11, it's already 11, but they told me like 11:30 was probably when we'd actually get there, so that's what we're hoping for. I've got this piece with its gloves. This shirt is just as is in case we want a layering piece. And then this was like the little drapey thing that I tried to make that I didn't really like finish it, but we can easily just like pin it and drape it over the body. I've got this piece that again is also as is. I made some little gloves that I kind of hate, but I'm gonna bring anyway just in case they actually work. I made this little skirt, which I don't think I showed last night. This was the last thing I made. Pretty cute. Then I have this one that they loved. This one they didn't really like, but I'm gonna bring it anyway just in case. And that is all that we've got in terms of pieces. I'm gonna pack these up. Honestly, it's more pieces than I thought I was gonna be able to even like bring, so I'm pretty content with the results of that at least. I thought I would only like be able to make like 1 or 2 things, so I'm glad at least we've got options. Obviously they're bringing options too, so we're gonna just mix and match. They have what I have and style it and do the best we can. So there's that all ready to go. And then I'm not bringing any accessories because I'm a gold girl and they want silver, so I have nothing to bring. But they did want my curling iron, and I told them I had a crimper. So I'm bringing this one too because it is mermaid-y, so this one would work well. So I'm bringing these 2 as well. And I think that's it. So I just need to like grab my stuff and head out. See what the day holds for us.